This video we're going to take a look at an old school cool knife from the folks at Old Timer. That's the Old Timer Big Timer. Coming up on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me. So the folks at Schrade were kind enough to send me one of their Old Timer 51 OT Big Timer old school cool lockback folding knives. And this is a kind of a different from some of the other knives we've looked at from Old Timer. We'll take a look at what makes it different, at least a couple things that I think make it different in just a second. But first let me tell you about the specs of this thing, and then we'll get down to the old stump top and start doing some of that knife stuff. Okay, first of all, as you can see, this is a lockback design folding knife, not a liner lock or anything. So that right there is kind of a nod to tradition. And then this knife features a 3.4 inch, or for those of you still stuck in the old metric system, that's 8.6 centimeters, but it's a drop point blade of 7CR17 stainless steel with a 4.8 inch or 12.2 centimeter Old Timer saw cut handle, which is basically, this is some sort of synthetic or plastic type material, I'm sure. And then with an overall open length of 8.2 inches or 20.8 centimeters. And this knife weighs about 7 ounces or 198 grams. As I mentioned, it is a lockback design, has a heat-treated back spring, also has nickel silver bolsters here, brass pins, and it comes with a really nice leather belt sheath, and basically got a nice snap on it, nice belt loop on the back. Just a really well-made leather sheath like most of the Old Timers, and it actually really holds true to the traditional style. By the way, the Amazon price on this knife at the time of this video is $18.59. So in my opinion, that is a really excellent value for a really cool knife. Okay, so that was some of the specs and details of the Old Timer Big Timer. So now let's get you down to the old stump top and we'll get to doing some of that nice stuff. Okay, so here we are, the old stump top. Here again is the Old Timer Big Timer. And go ahead and get right into doing some of the knife stuff. First of all, I want to show you, this is, in my opinion, is a departure from most of the other Old Timer knives that I've seen, in that this does not have a hollow grind. This is a, what I've always called a full flat grind. It's really got a secondary bevel on the bottom of it, which is, I think, pretty common, but it's basically a real straight, smooth angle taper down to the tip with just a secondary bevel, which is really sharp. And I'm just going to show you, hopefully you can see this. It's this is right out of the box, hair shaving sharp. I've got my show notes here. We're just going to try that. Let's see. Okay, so anyway, you get the idea. Pretty sharp. So, and again, it comes with a really nice leather sheath. We'll set that out of the way for a minute. So, it shaves your hair, it cuts paper. What about doing some regular old knife stuff? Well, we'll get to that. But first of all, I just want to show you, this got a big beefy handle. Again, this handle's about 4 inches, a little over 4 inches. I just cut my show notes up and wadded them up, so I don't remember exactly, but it feels really good in your hand. It really gives you a, whether you're left or right-handed, the back lock is obviously ambidextrous, as is the sheath. So this is a totally ambidextrous knife for those of you that are concerned about that. And it just feels good in your hand. It's got a big enough grip on it. You can really get a good solid grip. This back lock is really solid. There's no blade wobble at all. I mean, it is completely rock solid. Just a very nice feeling knife. It got a nice spring on it, and when it snaps open, it is solid. So there's that. Let's just take a look and get to doing some knife stuff. So here's a piece of, I don't know, old dead dry privet, I think. Just going to do a little carbon on it and see how well it does. Some pretty heavy carbon, because this is pretty tough stuff. It bites in really good, you can see. And it's dry. So we're just going to do this for a minute. Putting some pretty good effort into it. And see, make sure there's no hot spots or anything like that in the grip. Because, and it's not, it actually does. It's biting, and this is some tough dry wood too. Again, I think it's privet, I'm not really sure, but it's been something I've been testing knives on, and it is really, really tough. So So anyway, you can, you know, maybe you need to kill a vampire, you can carve a steak out pretty good with it. And the blade is really very, very smooth, so there's no coating or anything, which is cool. So what about some feathers? I've got some, pretty sure this is poplar here, but let's just see how what we can do is, man, this thing just really, this kind of flat grind really bites into the wood. You can see, I mean, just look at the really fine little feathers this thing is able to do. And that is any part of the blade, from the very tip up here all the way down. It just really makes some super fine little feathers. Look at that. This really nice, really nice. Look at that. Wow, look at that. Really nice edge is what edge was the word I was looking for. So let's see if we can get us a little pile of feathers here. Wow. Okay, I'm going to call this a new name. They're calling this a big timer. I'm calling this the Feathermaker. That is, this edge on this thing is just absolutely just unbelievable. Just really, I mean, whether I typically use a slicing type motion where I slide the blade down, because that seems to work better in a less than wonderful edge. But even pushing straight down, this thing can carve just such really super fine little feathers. Little fine little curls, feathers, whatever you want to call them. But it just really, it's amazing. It's just really, really thin. Microscopically thin, I would say. Just unbelievable. So, there's that. Nice little pile of beautiful feathers. Now, the back of this thing feels not too sharp. It's kind of got a little roundness to it, if you can see that, which is really common in a traditional style knife. You know, sharp spines were really not traditional, but we're going to give it a shot anyway, of course, with the old ferro rod. Let's see if we can get some. So it's not great, okay, be honest with you. It's just not really, really nice as far as putting out some sparks. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get anything on this or not. Yeah, I mean, it gets some, but it's not really worth the effort. You're not going to get many sparks from that. And basically all I've done is kind of scratch up this pretty knife. So that's okay, though. This still, in my opinion, a very cool knife, very solid knife. And let me show you these. I mean, you've seen them already, but I mean, this is just like, literally, I could do this for a long time, but it's just fun. Okay, so even though it wouldn't light with the ferro rod, to show you, once you've gotten such a great little bit of tinder with the shavings, works really good with a lighter. So definitely a tinder machine. Okay, well, that was some knife stuff and pretty quick little overview of the 51 OT old timer, big timer, or as I'm going to call it from now on, the Feathermaker, because this thing's got an edge like nobody's business on it. This is like an old school edge, really is. It's, you know, it's a straight, flat grind, secondary bevel, really easy to sharpen on a regular old stone. Just really a very nice knife, and under 20 bucks, which is what I really like about Schrade and Old Timer and that whole family of knives, is they offer a whole lot of value at a reasonable price. Now, I know that there's going to be comments about how is it balanced. Well, as I've said before, my normal balance testing apparatus is designed to test fixed blade knives, and I don't believe that it is a wise thing to put the folding knife through that balance testing procedure, because basically you've got a pivot here, and that's your entire structure of the knife, and it's not designed to be have a sudden impact. And our state-of-the-art balance testing facility here, as you can see, it does a great job of testing balance, but it also puts a lot of stress on the blade, so it actually tests other things besides the balance. It tests the structural integrity of a fixed blade knife. And this is not a fixed blade knife, so I'm just going to go ahead and address that because I know I'll get those comments. So we don't do the normal balance testing on a folder knife. So there you go. But I can tell you, listen to that. Just listen. That's rock solid. I mean, this thing has got no play in it. Just really, really nice knife. Bubblegum won't stick to Chuck Norris's shoe. And again, it comes with a really nice traditional leather sheath. So, I mean, if you like old school knives and traditional knives, this is one of those things that you can just wear on your hip, or you can carry in your pocket. But really and truly, it's a little big for me to carry in my pocket. But I mean, you can use this for anything from peeling an apple to you know, carving out whatever you need to carve out, to cutting boxes, to anything that needs cutting. Pretty much, it's just like your granddad's knife, which is really cool. So I'll stop rambling now. That's the Old Timer 51 OT. Once again, thanks to the folks at Schrade and Old Timer for sending me this so I can show it to you. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. Thanks for subscribing, for clicking that thumbs up, and for sharing this video with all your friends. And thank you so very much for doing all your Amazon shopping through the Survival on Purpose links. I really appreciate the support. Once again, my name's Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident. So be prepared. I'll see you next time. I'll try to put a knife to this link below, a knife to this link below. Hang on, I got to change my battery pack.